In my last video, I talked about how important it is to choose the kind of resort that will give you a really good experience in the Dominican Republic. So I'm giving you 5 choices today that will make it easy for you as a jump-off point to experience this incredible country. Let's dig in. The Westin Punta Cana is a great spot to start with when you're arriving there in the region and you want to experience the beauty of Punta Cana, the beaches, the lifestyle. The Westin Punta Cana is literally just barely a 10-minute, if that, drive from the international airport. You'll be there in no time. The hotel sits on Playa Blanca, which is a private beach, but is accessible to also people who visit the adjacent restaurant of the resort. In fact, a lot of locals also frequent this place for the weekend. They go there on Saturday for lunch and a swim. The water is calm, it's the Atlantic, but it's calm, it's turquoise, it's beautiful. They have a cord to prevent people from swimming too far off, and because there's boat activity behind, in the background. There's also a coral reef that you can go snorkeling to right offshore by boat. They take you, it's about 5 minutes, and then you can get a guided snorkeling experience there. This is a brand that is also very responsible. They've invested a lot of money in social and environmental sustainability for the area. They basically do their part, and they've also invested in even technical schools for locals, etc. They definitely carry their weight. They have a lot of employees and they've been there for a really long time, but it is one of the best known brands in the Dominican Republic in terms of reputation, quality, and value. But your meals are separate at the Westin Punta Cana. However, it's really high quality meals and you have access to a bunch of other restaurants that they run within the compound. You can also go to Punta Cana Village, which is a really fun area lined with bars, restaurants. Some of them are locally themed, and it's just a wonderful, family-friendly, couple-friendly environment to be in. If you want more action and a little bit more local color, then you should definitely consider the Hilton La Romana. It is an all-inclusive, and I know that I said stay away from all-inclusives in the Dominican Republic, but the truth is that they're not all created equal. And I understand that some people do need that convenience. Perhaps you have kids, perhaps you're tired and you just don't want to figure out a lot of things about where to eat, etc. And this is a really good base. I've stayed there myself, solo as well as with my husband. The last time we were there was in 2021, I believe. We spent a one night, one day anniversary celebration kind of day trip, and we stayed at Hilton La Romana, and it was a really great experience. The beach is lovely. This is the Caribbean Sea, by the way, so it's lovely, lovely, turquoise, calm. Oh, the sunset on the side is absolutely incredible. Around 5 or 6 for a swim, and while you're in the water, it's not even waist level. You're with your drink and you're just watching the sun go down there. And I remember that at that particular moment, we even saw a baby stingray appear just by our feet. We were like, oh my God, So that's how clear and clean it is around there. And then the benefit of staying at Hilton La Romana also is that it is walking distance along the beach, and it's safe, walking distance to the village itself, to the town. So there's a whole bunch of restaurants, shops, bars, all along there as well, and a waterfront area where all the boats are parked and stuff like that. It's a really lovely atmosphere. I would say it's even the safest part of the Dominican Republic as far as tourist destinations goes, Bayaibe. It's called the Bayaibe Village. This is where Hilton La Romana is located, and easy to access. So guys, don't sleep on Hilton La Romana. From there as well, you can easily go on daytime excursions to Saona Island, which is spectacular and it's a must-see. Even though it's one of the very busy visited places, I recommend you hire a private boat captain and head out there and spend the day on one of the uninhabited beaches, or even go for lunch. It's just spectacular. So Bayaibe is a really good base to be at. It's also very close to Santo Domingo. I would say it's about an hour and a half ride. So if you're on the way between the two, which is what one of my new subscribers and commenters asked for a recommendation, that's between Punta Cana and Santo Domingo, I would highly recommend that. My third suggestion for a place in the Dominican Republic that will offer you a really authentic perspective of the country is called Tubagua Eco Lodge, and it's in Puerto Plata, in the Puerto Plata province, but it's also just about a 20-minute ride up in the hills from Puerto Plata City. It's lovely. I mean, this is very unique accommodations. They are these cottages that are nicely furnished, and the food is locally cooked and prepared on site by a Dominican. You eat communal with other guests. You have a spectacular view over the Puerto Plata province and the Atlantic Ocean up ahead. You're also not far from many excursions. What I love about this lodge is that they run their own specific hikes and excursions that are run by a local guide. His name is Juanin, and I believe he's still there. He takes guests with him, and you cross through the back of the resort. You go hiking through the villages that are behind the resort, and you get to meet some locals along the way, and then he takes you to this beautiful turquoise pool that's called, I think, God's Pools or something like that. And you know, you'd have to know to get to this place, and it's a really fun hike, not too strenuous. There's only one little strenuous part where you kind of have to pull yourself up a rope and then finally get to the pool, but it's just spectacular. And then you get to spend time with Juanin, learning about the Dominican Republic, learning about the culture in Puerto Plata. And when you go there, say hi to the owner, Tim, for me. As far as beaches go, here's another recommendation. It is a small village called Las Galeras, which is on the Samana Peninsula. Absolutely breathtaking scenery. In fact, I guarantee you there is nothing like the Samana Peninsula in the whole Caribbean. You just won't find it. I mean, this is Survivor type scenery, you know. It's just amazing. You have to go see it for yourself. Miles and miles and miles of beaches, beautiful Atlantic waters. And some beaches are swimmable, others are not, but you'll know when you're there. And I really recommend you stay at this newly opened luxury sort of guest house hotel. And I haven't been there myself, I'm dying to, but it was opened recently, and I know the lady who's manager there. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being. In fact, she runs her own like eco-farming workshops around the country, and she knows all about sustainability. So I trust places that she's at, you know. Check it out, let me know how it is. And if you go there, you'll see that there's so much more to the Dominican Republic than Punta Cana. Now, for those who are truly adventurous and want to see a little bit more than the beach, I highly recommend you venture to Jarabacoa, which is sort of near the center of the country and is the mountainous area of the country. It is green, it is lush, it has so many rivers that converge, freshwater swims, waterfalls, all of that good stuff, long national park hikes, all of that good stuff in Jarabacoa. And if you're new to the region and you just want to stay at a resort that offers all of it included, you can opt for the Hotel Gran Jimenoa. I have stayed there myself more than once, and it's, you know, your typical eco lodge, but it's lovely because it has a river running through it. It has a bridge, so it's got nice walkways around the property. And then when you want to venture off property, you can go on so many excursions, including river rafting, waterfall hikes, swimming. There's a ton of attractions around there that you can experience. I've done them myself more than once. In fact, it's my favorite part of the country. So Hotel Gran Jimenoa, and the food is excellent. It's very Dominican, it's locally prepared, but there's also Western dish options. So those were 5 resorts, both in Punta Cana and outside of Punta Cana, including eco lodges that you can experience, that will show you that the Dominican Republic is such an incredibly diverse country in terms of the landscape and the experiences you can get. And as I said in my last video, you can't go to the Dominican Republic just to drink. I mean, obviously this is a young people problem, and some of us wiser folks know better. But I still see a lot of folks going to resorts and thinking that that's all there is, or that Punta Cana is all there is to the Dominican Republic, and that couldn't be more false. And it is absolutely 100% safe for you to explore all of these areas. I've never personally had a problem. And remember, safety is not guaranteed anywhere you go, but in the DR, it's pretty good when it comes to tourism, when you think about it. 11 million tourists a year. So if you do go to one of these 5 places, let me know what you think. Let me know what your experience is like. And if you have your own recommendations of really cool resorts that could be a good jump-off point for offbeat areas of the DR or for lesser visited areas of the DR, then please drop them in the comments. You know, let's share what we know, and let's share advice for everybody so that they can come back to this video. If you'd like to know more about the Dominican Republic, I recommend you watch my previous videos on what it was like for me to actually live there, which is different from being a tourist, and what it was like to explore some of the areas that I was at when I was writing my book on the Dominican Republic. All right, it's a wrap. Thanks guys for watching, and remember, subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you next time.